Hello, and welcome to this lesson that's about the first paragraph of a claim, counterclaim, conclusion essay. This could apply to any time you're writing in that structure. Claim, counterclaim, conclusion. We're going to talk about the first paragraph, which is the claim paragraph. Okay, here is my example from the speech that I gave as an example to the class. I'm going to give you a quick read through again just to remind you what I said, and then I'm going to break down the parts and share with you my outline. When driving along Ibirapuera Park in Sao Paulo, a huge statue rises like a giant stone ship, breaking the surface of a large traffic circle. As you get closer, you see that the monument is a large group of people, pulling a canoe and being led by two horses. The 50-meter-long, 12-meter-high granite statue is energetic, the people moving forward, pulling the boat behind them. It's a beautiful piece of sculpture, proudly placed near the iconic Ibirapuera Park. Thousands of cars flowing around it daily. This striking memorial commemorates the Bandeirantes. The Bandeirantes were European settlers in Brazil in the 1600s and 1700s who explored the wild interior of Brazil, expanding the colonized territory westward. Yet there's another part of the story. According to global events, milestone events throughout history, the Bandeirantes joined together in private expeditions with the primary goal of capturing indigenous people who could be sold as slaves. Essentially, the Bandeirantes were slave hunters. To so publicly and proudly celebrate those who took humans prisoner and enslaved them is insulting to those enslaved people and their descendants. Because of the historical connection to human slavery, the Bandeirantes Memorial should be taken down. Okay, that's my first paragraph. Remember, this is a 3-paragraph speech: claim, counterclaim, conclusions. This is my claim paragraph. So let's break it down. I highlighted this section because it all has something in common. I'm talking about driving. You see the statue. It's like a giant ship coming out of the water, and it's got horses and a canoe, and it's 50 meters long and 12 meters high. It's huge. What I'm doing here, the purpose of this is the hook. I have done some description, some storytelling here about this monument to engage you and get you interested in my topic. I did not start, if you notice, with a history of the Bandeirantes. The Bandeirantes are kind of one of the main topics of my speech. But I don't start with the Bandeirantes were European settlers in Brazil in the 1600s and 1700s. Notice I didn't start here. A lot of students want to start with background information, but I have something to tell you. Background information is kind of boring. I don't know why I'm hearing background information. Why should I care about this background information? So instead, start with a hook. What are some other ideas for hook? You could ask a question. You could make a connection to your topic to current events. Something is happening in the news right now. You could talk about another historical event, another historical figure that we studied. We're all giving speeches about different historical figures in the slavery and abolition time period of the United States, 1619 to 1865. Is there another figure we studied that relates to the figure you've chosen? Is there another historical figure or time period? Do you want to tell a little story from that person's life, whether it was the end of their life or the beginning of their life, that doesn't necessarily fit into your paper, your speech, but maybe another little detail that would get readers interested, okay? You want to get people excited about your speech. Then I come to this blue part where I give some background information. I'm giving info. I assume that my audience may not know who the Bandeirantes are. I am not, for example, a BRSS teacher who has just finished a unit on the Bandeirantes for my students. Instead, I'm imagining there could be teachers from Germany in my room. There could be parents from Korea. There could even be American parents who at one time studied, for example, our topics about American slavery and abolition, but they might have forgotten. So remind them or teach them in the first place some details. A couple of sentences is great. Next, I go into the green. According to global events, there's your hint. And then here's your other hint, question marks. Yeah. This is my evidence to support my claim. This is in my outline, I have some evidence that supports my claim. There is a piece of my evidence. After evidence, well, I just want to point out, we start with according to. That is the greatest lead-in to quotes. It's not repetitive, I promise. It's very acceptable. Then I use quotation marks. Wait a minute, Miss Griswold. Why don't you have a parentheses after the quote with the source in it? That's because I integrated my source before the quote. I told you that this is from my global events, milestone events throughout history source. So you now know where it came from and could check my works cited. Then we have these two sentences after my quote. Essentially, the Banderanchis were slave hunters. To so publicly and proudly celebrate those who took humans prisoner and enslaved them is insulting to those enslaved people and their descendants. Now, what do you think I'm doing in that purple? Remember, in the past, when we've given evidence, what do we always have to follow evidence up with? I like to joke, I don't want naked evidence. I would like evidence to wear something or put something on its feet. And that is reasoning. Explain what this evidence proves. So after this quote, I said, essentially, the Banderanchis were slave hunters. You might add more detail. You might elaborate. You might explain what certain words mean or what the event was that this was talking about. That's what I've done in these two sentences. And then finally, because of the historical connection to human slavery, the Banderanchis memorial should be taken down. Hopefully you saw this word should and you think, this sounds like an opinion, Ms. Griswold, like opinion you hold. You are right. This is my claim. It is a one-sentence statement of the claim or my claim. One side of the argument that the memorial is bad and should be taken down. I put this at the end of my paragraph. I know sometimes when you're writing, you write your claim first, and then you write your evidence and your reasoning. Well, there are different types of writing. This is another one. This is another type of writing. And in this type of writing, we present our evidence and then we end with the conclusion that we draw from that evidence. There are other ways to do this. You could embed your claim in the middle after the background information before your evidence. That would also be okay. But I liked ending my first paragraph with the claim. I feel like it's a powerful ending. And there are other types of writing too where we would end with the claim. Okay. Now let me show you what this looks like in our good old-fashioned Roman numeral outline. Okay. Roman numeral 1, hook. Many options there. I will maybe even link. I don't really know how to do some of these YouTube things other people can do. I will link in the comments another video about how to write hooks. Then you're going to do your background info on that person. Your next section will be evidence number 1, followed by the reasoning for evidence 1. Then evidence number 2, followed by the reasoning for evidence 2. And then end with your claim statement. Okay? Good luck and consult the Banderanchis essay if you have questions or the other example I gave you.